share her testimony of what God did in her body back in 2021. Come on, girl. It's an awesome testimony. And I didn't know that till this week. She was keeping it quiet to herself, but I feel like it's something that you need to hear and that we need to rejoice together. Wendy, Karen and I have been knowing her now for 8 years. Wendy is second in command in our real estate company, and she takes care of all the office administration and keeps our boss in line. And so we're thankful for her. She's an awesome woman of God, and I want you to hear what God did. And for those of you that are questioning God's ability to heal, he still heals.
Good morning, everybody. I don't probably think I need this mic, but I'll use it. First of all, it's a blessing to be here, and just to come hear Sister Judy sing. I mean, that's worth everything. Just to hear that, and you know, we get out of the service what we put into it. And we're singing that song that there's nothing, no one like God, and there's not. He can be anything that we want him to be. He can be our mother, our father, our friend. I've had him to be my attorney. I've had him to be my husband. That's a whole different story that God's brought me through. But most of all, he is our healer. Yeah. And there's nothing, I don't care what the doctor says, I don't care what the specialists say, there's nothing that God can't do. Lina said I was keeping it a secret. I'm not necessarily keeping it a secret because I have praised him, and I have testified about this at other places, but I try not to air my business, I guess is what that is. But anyway, in 2021, I was having some mild complications, and I'm going to keep this as decently as I possibly can, but it was some female situations, and I didn't know how bad it was, but I went to the doctor, and they checked out some things, and here I am, and ladies, you know the position without me going there. I'm there, and the doctor is very frantic, calls 3 or 4 other doctors in, and I'm just laying there. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? What y'all talking about? What's happening? And they begin to tear up, and they're like, I don't even know how to tell you. And I'm like, well, just tell me. I'm a big girl. I've got this. Tell me. And what they told me was, and me not knowing anything, I had stage 4 cancer of uterus, cervix, any other thing that you could possibly have down there. Stage 4 cancer and 2 weeks to live. Had no idea. Was I sick? Yes. But God puts things on us just like he does everybody else. Just because we're his children doesn't mean that we don't have to suffer. So, of course, at this time, I have a 15-year-old and a 19-year-old. Like I said, my husband and I are separated. When my son started the church, my husband told us that we had to leave. So he left us. And so it was me and my 2 kids. And what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Was I scared? Yes. But I know I have a God. And I was willing to be or to do whatever it was going to be. If I had to leave, I had to leave. So I didn't tell anybody, but of course my children sat down, talked about it. Of course they were all broke up. I'm like, we're not going to do this. God is in control. We're going to do whatever he does. He will make a way for you guys. I promise you. He's never let me down in 54 years, and he's not going to start letting y'all down. So went to church. That was on a Thursday. Went to church that weekend. We have church on Saturday. At that time where I was going, we have church Saturday night, Sunday, and Sunday night. So went to church Saturday night, and sitting on the second bench there, and they have a little altar circle up front. And I'm standing there still. I hadn't said anything. And I hear this small little voice. It says, just walk out there. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to walk out there. They're going to think I'm crazy. They don't know nothing's wrong with me. These are people out here that really need God. I thought, well, Wendy, so do you. So I stepped out and just began to walk around the prayer circle. And when I did, the elders of the church got the anointing oil and they began to anoint me. They not knowing anything, but God did. So that was Saturday night. Sunday morning, I did it again. We had another, and they don't typically do that, so God was in control and everything. Sunday morning, did the same thing. So I just kind of left it in God's hands. Now, I wasn't supposed to go back to the doctor because I told him I wasn't taking chemo. I wasn't doing anything. It was just going to take its course. Well, she called me Monday, and she said, for some reason, you were on the schedule to come in today. I'm like, well, I don't know anything about it, but I can come in. What do we do? And she said, well, I don't know. She said, because your name just popped up. I said, well, what time? She said, 10 o'clock. So I came in and we do the procedure again. And she goes into the frantic mode again. I'm like, oh, now what is it? I told you I'm not doing this, I'm doing that. She calls the doctors back in there and she said, there is nothing here. There are no signs of any cancer. There's no signs of any infection, anything that you have ever had, anything. So in that 2 days, God completely healed that and took it away. And so I'm here to tell you that God can heal. And I have numerous stories, things that happen, testimonies that God has done for me. And I've seen a lot throughout my Christian life. I accepted Christ when I was 13 and been serving Him. Yeah, I fell off a few times, but guess what? He's always there. He never leaves us. So anyway, but I wanted y'all to know that God can heal. And He is there for us, like I said, for whatever we need. And He is the King of everything. Yes. So thank you all so much.
Amen.